With natural disasters and fires going off all around the world more than ever, I was super motivated to go through my family's go bag and double check and see if everything was good to go. But that also motivated me to want to make this video and possibly be able to help you or anyone that's watching to be able to curate your own homemade go bag with quality equipment and everything that you can really find on Amazon. So I'm going to go through all of these items. I'm going to categorize everything, and everything will be down below in chapters. So if there's something specific that you're looking for, or something that's more important to you, feel free to drop down into the chapters, scrub through the rest of the stuff, and find some stuff that maybe is more important to you. And at the end of this video, I will show you the backpack that I'm using, and I'll show it to you all loaded out with everything and how it looks on my body. So with that being said, what we're going to talk about first is the plan. If there's an emergency, usually there's not going to be much of a warning. Things happen extremely fast. If a fire breaks out, if there's an earthquake, whatever the case may be, it's going to happen really quickly, and you're not going to have too much time to prepare usually. So do you have a plan? You and your family should sit down and put together a game plan. If you're home together, what's your plan? Where are you going to go? Or maybe you're going to shelter in place. Do you have what you need at your home? Do you work at an office? Maybe you and your wife or your family all have different jobs and you're working in different places. You need to have a plan depending on where you guys are to be able to get back together. That should be the number one priority, is to get back to your family. So have a meetup spot. Put all these things down on paper, have a notebook in each of your go bags, and know where you're gonna go and have contingencies for that plan. It could be that everything gets destroyed and you don't have a specific place anymore that you're planning on meeting. Well, most likely there's gonna be shelters that pop up and things like that. A couple of the things recently that some friends of mine went through that were super important to them that they didn't have was photos of each other. If shelters break out and are in place for those that are displaced, you may want selfies or pictures of your family so that you can post those, put your phone number on it, or a location that you're at. And that way your family is notified when they see your photo that you're safe and better odds of you guys getting back together. So going back to the game plan, if you're working from home, maybe your backpack is right at the front door, or maybe it's in your garage where you have some extra water stored, things like that, where you can grab it really quickly and get out of there. If you work from an office, your go bag should probably be in your car so that you have it. If something happens while you're at the office, maybe you work a ways away from home, you got to get back home, or you got to get to wherever your family is. You're going to want your go bag to be with you. You're going to want all of these things to be with you in your bag and easily accessible so that you can use them to do whatever you need to do. That being said, one of the things to always remember is the rule of threes when it comes to survival. So you can go 3 minutes without air in your lungs. You can go 3 hours without shelter in an extreme environment. You can go 3 days without water, and you can go 3 weeks without food. Now, 3 weeks without food, that's assuming that you do have water. So you're able to consume a bit of water to help you through that. And these are, it sort of depends on the type of person you are and all of those types of things, but that's the general rule of thumb, threes. So it's good to keep that in mind in a survival situation, maybe even write it down in your notebook so this is something you can remember if you are in an extreme environment. So with all that being said, why don't we go ahead and hop into some of this gear. Behind me, I have laid out a bunch of gear that goes inside of a backpack or a go bag that is ready to rock at all times. I'm going to go through it by category, and it's not really in any particular order, but why don't we go ahead and hop into this gear. And again, If any of this stuff interests you, please use the links down below, as they are affiliate links and might give me a little bit of kickback. So that being said, let's hop into the gear. Okay, we'll start with a bit of clothing. So first thing is you got to keep your body warm. You got to keep your body at a good temperature. Otherwise, there's possibilities of hypothermia and frostbite and all these things. And so first thing that I have rolled up in here is an insulated jacket. It'd probably be good to have like a rain jacket, but I also keep some ponchos handy as well. And so these are really good to have in an emergency situation. And if you do have a rain jacket, you can use the ponchos for anything else, or maybe even helping out a friend that doesn't have something like that. So an insulated jacket is something really good to have to keep you warm. Some dry pants. If you get wet, the clothes you're wearing, it's good to have a change. And so a nice good pair of pants is obviously a great idea. These are just like some, I think these are like Wrangler stretchy sort of insulated pants. So these work really well. I do have a couple of shirts in here. I've got like a thicker Carhartt shirt and just a standard cotton shirt. One's long sleeve, one's not. So I've got two options for shirts. A beanie. I don't know why this is red. You might be in a situation where you don't want to be seen. You want to stay a bit more low key. And so red might not be the greatest idea. I might actually switch this out. But either way, a beanie is a really great option to keep on you, to keep your head warm. You want to keep your extremities as warm as possible. Socks are great. A couple pairs of socks. If your feet are wet, you're just in a bad spot. So you want to keep your feet dry. So fresh socks is a really great idea. And then a towel. You can use a towel for so many things. You could use this to filter water when you're putting water in a cup to boil. You can use this to start a fire. You can use this to dry off. Towels have a lot of different functions. So nice to have a little towel in there just in case. One thing that I forgot to put in here, and I can't seem to find them in the garage, is a pair of gloves. It'd be really good to have a pair of gloves. If you are in a situation where you're having to work with your hands, it's probably a good idea to have a pair of gloves. Okay, next I want to talk about shelter. If you are in a spot where you don't have a shelter or a cover over you, maybe you're in the forest or something like that, honestly, it could be anywhere. You want shelter and you want somewhere to sleep, somewhere dry. So I picked up this little LifeTent. This was on Amazon. I opened it up earlier today. I haven't actually fully used it yet. I want to. But this is literally just like sort of a thin like Mylar material, but it's fairly like stretchy as well. And so basically you can just run paracord from a tree to tree or whatever stakes that you have available. Run this, set up your tent, and it's like a triangular shape, and lock it down on the corners with gear or rocks or sticks or whatever, and you've got a little shelter from the rain. So this thing could be really cool. Not cool, but could be really helpful in a cool or rainy environment. So this is called the LifeTent. It's on Amazon. I'd give it a go, give it a try. To go right along with that though is a super packable sleeping bag. This is just a survival sleeping bag, but same thing. It's like pretty much the same material, but it opens up, rolls out, and it came in a pack of 2. So all of this stuff that I have in here, it's essentially duplicated in my wife's bag. She's got pretty much the same exact setup. So everything in 2s. They say 2 is 1 and 1 is none in a survival situation. So if I don't have 2 in my backpack, I typically do. But if I don't, my wife's got a second set as well. And odds are we'll be together in a survival situation. So I've got some micro cord as well. This is 100-pound micro cord, and I think this is like 250 or maybe more. It could be 500-pound. And so I've got plenty of each of these. So in a situation where you got to set up camp, you've got a cover, something to sleep under, something to sleep on, and something to set it up. So there's your shelter. Okay, next is fire. Wherever you are, fire is probably going to be very important. So what I've got here is a few items and a few redundancies. So basically we've got duct tape, which, you know, this has 1,000,001 different uses. This can be used to patch holes. This can be used to tie gear up, to fix stuff, fix your shoes if you need to, whatever. Duct tape. But this is also a great fire starter, and so you can use this to start a fire if need be. So I've got a little 1-inch roll. It's not super massive, but it works really well. So duct tape. The other thing I've got is cotton balls that have been coated in petroleum jelly. So I went through and basically just took petroleum jelly, really soaked these things really good all around the exterior so that every bit of it is covered in petroleum jelly. And basically what you do is you can just pull these things apart and expose the fiber, and then either hit it with your good old Bic lighter, which I've got right here. These are great to have. Or ferro rod. This ferro rod's really cool because it came with as a whistle right here on the edge, and also a compass. And it also came with extra paracord too. So redundancies all around. So yeah, you just strike this ferro rod and you can start up a fire really, really easy using these cotton balls. And then, of course, matches. This is a waterproof match kit from a company called UCO, Stormproof Matches. Comes with a striking, what do you call that? Striking pad? Striker? Strickety striker. Anyways, waterproof case, matches. Why not? You might as well have them, right? All right. Next on the list would be food. Food and water. There's all kinds of different survival foods out there. You've got like your, military rations that you can buy. I didn't pick up any of those. I hope that I would never have to use those. But what I did get is I ordered the 72-hour kit from ReadyWise. And so these are awesome. There's 260 calories per serving, and this whole container is about 4 servings. ReadyWise is a pretty reputable brand. I've used their stuff before, and so that's great. And then this is a bit more flavorful, if you ask me. The Mountain House Adventure Meals, 240 calories per serving, 480 per container, and there are 2 servings per bag when it comes to this stuff. So these are great, and they have a massive shelf life, like best by May of 2053. It's a long time. Then of course, you got your Snickers, because you're not yourself. What is the saying? You're not yourself. You're not yourself when you're hungry. Is that it? Love Snickers. A good old protein bar, just a simple protein bar. And then you got to have your beef sticks. Archer, grass-fed beef stick. These things last a long time too, and they're super good. 8 grams of protein. I don't know, I just chucked that in there. Water. There's a lot of ways to filter your water. I had ordered a Life Straw, and I haven't gotten it yet, but look it up. Life Straw is really cool. But I did have these. These are just water purification tablets. One of them purifies your water, and the other one sort of makes it more enjoyable to drink. to eat, these are kind of cool. These are these little duo, I forget the name, anyways. You can connect these two pieces together to make them long enough to get into a pouch of food. So get all the way to the bottom without getting your hand all dirty or whatever. One side is a spoon and the other side is a fork. And then when you're traveling, you just, I can do this, slide them back together and they're good to go. Nice little compact form factor. These are, a type of plastic, which, whatever. I mean, stainless steel or something metal is more durable, but this is super light, and so these work fine. For cooking solutions, obviously just starting a fire and having a small pot in your backpack is a great way to go. But if you have room, you can also get these little like Jetboil type things. This is the Blue brand. I've had this thing for a couple years and this thing's awesome. I've had no issues with it. You basically just pop out the stove piece. You can keep a whole thing of, keep that in there for rattling, but you can keep this Primus gas inside, and so it all packs up together and sits in this nice little form factor. And you can light it up and start boiling your water to cook your food super easily. It's got a nice little spigot, or not spigot, but little holes to drain your liquids. They also make different sizes. This is the bigger size for sure. This is pretty big. They make like a more compact size. Link down below for this, but this is awesome. I love this. Keep this in my backpack. And then just having a good bottle to carry your water. You want to be able to carry your water once you've filtered it or boiled it or whatever. You want to have it with you, so if you're hiking or you have to move around, you've got water to drink while you're on the move. All right, moving on to tools. You got to have some sort of tools to get stuff done while you're out there, wherever you are. So first thing is going to be a knife. This is a full tang knife, outdoor knife. This isn't the most expensive or fanciest knife out there, but in a survival situation, it'll get the job done. This is an Elk Ridge knife, but it comes in its own sheath. It's got a nice handle. It's full tang, and so this'll get the job done. Going along with a knife with a full-size blade is a multi-tool. Talking about redundancies. This is the Leatherman Signal, one of my favorite multi-tools out there. And this was made for camping, basically. So in a survival situation, this thing's got all kinds of stuff. It's got a ferro rod that you can pull out right here. It's got a whistle. It's got a saw, a knife. It's got full pliers and wire cutters. Screwdrivers. It's got an awl, so if you need to drill holes or do any sewing, you can use that awl to do that. It's even got a hammer, so if you need to pound in some stakes or makeshift stakes or whatever, it's got all that. So this thing's great. It's not the cheapest multi-tool on the market, so if you're interested in something a little bit cheaper, SOG Power Pint is a great choice as well. This has all the little things that you could need as well in a survival situation. And so this is a great option too. So I'll have both of these linked down below. If you want something a bit more pricey, Leatherman, amazing, my favorite stuff. Or this SOG Power Pint, another great option, but a bit cheaper. Okay, so in a standard situation where cell phones are still working, you want to be able to charge your phone wherever you are. And so there's a couple different options. In previous videos, I've shown you my little smaller, like 10,000 milliamp hour chargers. But what I have here is a big boy. This is from a company called Max Oak. I believe they're the same as Blue Eddy, if I'm not mistaken. But this is a 50,000 milliamp battery bank. This has got 4 USB-A ports. It's a beast. This thing's super heavy. I don't know if this is the best idea for everyone, but if you don't mind having a heavy pack, this thing will charge you and your family's gear for days. My wife and I went on I think it was a 4-day camping trip, 3 nights. Charged our phones, Apple Watches, and my iPad for 4 days. So that's pretty epic. So this is great. This lives in my go bag. And then, of course, I take it camping as well. Now, in a situation where you're not leaving your home, if you have to shelter in place and the grid goes down, you lose power, this is a great option to have around your house, or something even bigger. This is the Blue Eddy AC50S, and this has a 500 watt-hour battery. So this thing, when we go on our overlanding or camping trips, this charges my refrigerator and a few of our other items, camera gear, and it does a really great job. It's not the biggest battery ever, but you know, we've got solar panels that go with it. And I'm going to be doing a full review on this as well, so if you're interested in more of this Big Daddy stuff, I will have a video coming out on this shortly. So this is a great option if you're not having to pack a backpack and dip out like that. One other thing that I forgot to mention was regarding water. We usually keep one of these in each of our vehicles. This is 7 gallons. So having a good amount of water, obviously that's super important, but if you don't have access to water, it's nice to have these on reserve at your house or in the back of your car or whatever the case may be, but good to have a little extra water. All right, lighting. Lighting is super important. You need to be able to see what you're doing. So I went with this GearLight brand. They have a kit on Amazon right now that's a great price, and it comes with 2 of these flashlights, which are great. They you can basically pull this in or out, and it widens or narrows the flashlight throw. It's just got a thumb switch right here. One mode, but this thing works really well at night. It's super bright, and it's got a strike bezel. So it came with 2 of those, and it came with 2 headlamps as well. So these are awesome. Nice stretchy material. They move and tilt, so that's awesome. And then it's got like 3 different brightness levels on its white light, and then it's got, I think, 3 or 4 different modes for red light as well. So if you're in a situation where you don't want a ton of light, while the headlamp is off, you just hold down the button and it'll turn into red mode immediately. So you don't have to worry about blinding yourself or anybody, or you can stay a bit more inconspicuous. So that's a flashlight and a headlamp. Glow sticks, these come in most like pre-made 72-hour packs, survival packs, and so I just transferred these over from the one that I bought like a long time ago. But always nice to have a little bit of glow stick light for your shelter. You can hang these, whatever you need to do, chuck them in water, I don't know. Okay, communication. So there's a few different things that you can do here. You might have more experience than me with different radios. I'm mostly familiar with just 2-way radios. CB, we've always had a CB radio in our vehicles, but I know that GRMS, or is it GRMS or GMRS? Anyways, I know that those are getting more popular, but then there's a lot of ham operators too, and that's next on my list. But if you don't have experience with any of that, then just a standard 2-way radio is great. It's 2 cheap, simple options right here. You got like major budget, like small Cobra guys, and you've got these like Midland X talkers. These will do like 30 miles or something like that, and this is a little bit less. But they both got pocket clips, so you can clip these in a bunch of different channels. That's another thing that is important to write down. If you're in a situation, you're not around your family, turn those things on and have a plan with your family of what channel you're going to use to try and get a hold of each other. Write that down in each notebook in your family's pack so you're aware of how to get a hold of them. Now, the other thing is a radio. In an emergency situation, there will be different broadcasts going on about the current emergency that's happening. And so it's really good to have a little radio and also take note of the different emergency channels that are available in your area. Every county has different emergency channels. So look that up, make note of it, and that way you'll know what to look up, what channel to use in an emergency. So I've got this little hand crank radio. It's got solar on top, so you can charge it via solar. It's got a little crank wheel here that you can use to charge it up as well. It's got this extendable antenna that folds down. It's got a little flashlight, another redundancy right there, a little flashlight. And then you've got your little dials here. So to turn it on, you've got volume, AM, FM, and WB. And then there's an SOS option, and of course you can tune it to find your channel that you want. So this is really important to have as well in a survival situation. All right, first aid. So this is just like what I would call like a boo-boo kit, or if you cut yourself. This is a great little kit on Amazon. It comes with all the essentials. So everything is separated. You've got your bandages and scissors and everything that you need for just a little emergency setup. So this is a great compact form factor. It's in a nice hard case so nothing gets smashed and ruined. And then this is for like a seriously sketchy situation. You get your wrist chopped off or something extreme happens where you're losing a lot of blood on one of your limbs. This is a tourniquet. And so basically, usually have two of these. I've got one in my pack and my wife's got one in hers. But if you've got a limb that is losing blood and one of these doesn't work, you're going to want two. Again, two is one and one is none. So having two of these would be great. If you've never used a cat tourniquet before or practiced, if you pick one of these up, definitely practice and learn the technique to make this work properly. I forgot to mention earlier was having a good mask. So this is this RZ brand. I've had this for a long time. This type of mask would be super important for you and your family. So we've got a few of these in our packs as well. All right, I've been talking about making notes of everything. And so I've got one of these little compact, I've talked about these in many of my videos, but these little Write in the Rain notepads, and this is my Fisher Space Pen. I've just got like a few main points written down right here at the very beginning of it in the table of contents. I also keep a little bit of cash tucked away in here. It's always good to have a little bartering cash or whatever in an emergency situation. So this is super important. All right, and then here's just a bunch of random stuff. Extra batteries for the flashlights. If they're not rechargeable, you want extra batteries for your whatever is battery operated. So I've got a few of those in this little resealable Mylar bag. These are really great. The other thing I don't have right here right now is the same thing but for pills. So any medications or whatever, I put in one of these little Mylar bags, and these work really great because you can see they're reflective and they're resealable. Then there's just a bunch of random stuff. So like some tissue, paper, you got the sniffles or whatever. A couple of those are nice to have. This is very extra, but a big old roll of toilet paper. You got to take care of business. You got to take care of business. So there's that. Couple of like 30-gallon trash bags. These can be used for many different things. Makeshift shelter, makeshift poncho, just to hold trash. You can lay these on the ground to sleep on, whatever. But good to have a couple trash bags for whatever you may need them for. And then like hygiene stuff, some toothpaste and a little toothbrush, some deodorant to stay fresh, and some wipies. Wipies are good to have to clean your body. I've used a bunch of different brands. This is just a random brand I had in the house right now, but wipies are super good to have so you can stay fresh when you're on the go. All right, so that was pretty much all of the gear. Felt like a lot, but this is all stuff that's super necessary for survival. I hope that these items were able to give you a little bit of assistance, maybe put you in the right direction for the gear that you might want for your family. Again, you know, if you've got kids, you want to run through the game plan with them. If you've got a dog, you're going to want to keep extra food for your dog, maybe a couple little bowls so that you can give your dog water and food as well. The only thing that I haven't actually showed you is the backpack. This is the backpack. This is a 40-liter pack that I got on Amazon. It's obviously not the most insanely well-made backpack ever. Like, you know, there's no YKK zippers, but it is made out of decent materials. It is using a 600D high-density nylon, and so we'll see how it holds up. I haven't really used it much at all. It's just been sitting in my vehicle. All the stuff I just showed you fits in this perfectly. So this might be a great backpack for you. Again, linked below. If you want to scoop it up, scoop it up. I think I would suggest it. I'm going to pack this thing out with everything and show you what it looks like full, and then we'll get you out of here. All right, guys, so I've got the backpack on now. And this is what it looks like. That is fully loaded out. This is the Reebow brand 40-liter backpack. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please give it a like. And if you're into this sort of stuff, hit that subscribe button because I do release videos every week. Hope you're all doing well, and I will see you in the next video. Later.